All right, today I'm going to be making a guide for you guys about the mechanics behind egg creation. I'm going to talk about all the prep you're going to need. I'm going to talk about the actual the mechanics of making the egg, and then we're going to go into some details about how hatching works, the full mechanics of egging, start to finish. So the first thing you're going to have to do is some very basic prep. First things first, make sure you have a bunch of extra Pokeballs. Each egg you make is going to consume one Pokeball. So if you're making 300 eggs, you're going to need at least 300 Pokeballs. They're pretty cheap. I recommend buying like 1,000 or 2,000, so you just have no chance. I've had an egg batch completely ruined. Not ruined, but really messed up, really expensive because of how many Ultra Balls I used, because I ran out of Pokeballs, ran out of Great Balls, and used like 150 Ultra Balls. Just insane money loss because of poor prep. You're going to want to make sure you're on the right server. Down in the bottom, if you type in your Whispers window, by default, you can type /ping. It will show you what server you're on. You want to choose whichever server you have lower ping to. Typically, this is going to be Cars, I believe, for most players. And like NA players are just gonna have better ping by default. That's just a nature of the nature of their location in proximity to the server. You're gonna want to download good strings. So I have Bill's strings. I have a slightly modified version, as you'll see later in the video, that I modified myself. I will drop a Google Drive link to those as well, and then I'll drop a link to Bill's strings if you don't like my strings. Okay, good shout, Hawk. It's any chat that you have the system messages tab turned on for. So if you do this, in my Whispers, I actually don't have it. I have a separate tab for system messages, but any chat tab in which you have the system messages checked off. And then I also wanted to show I also wanted to talk about how shininess is actually determined when making eggs. So we're going to be talking about like egging for shinies, spamming out as many eggs as you can within one shiny charm. The shininess of an egg is determined when you breed it. So it doesn't matter when you hatch it, if you have a shiny charm going, if you're on Dono, but when you are making the eggs, you want to be on a shiny charm and probably on Dono, so you have the best odds. So that will save you, even a couple batches is a few million yen. So you want the best odds you can possibly have. The last piece of prep that I'm going to show is moving your party bar. Now, not everyone does this, and people do this in different ways, but I move my party bar. I press both buttons. It'll start off over here, right? I will press the weird diagonal, whatever this button is. Sorry, I can't really tell what these buttons are meant to be. This will make it horizontal, and then I'll press this arrows button, which will give me this bar, and let me drag it. I will drag it so that the bar is lined up with the breeding menu, and then you'll press the arrows button again, and it'll lock it in place. Now I can't move it, and look at how close that is to the breed button. It says test. That's a part of my custom strings. It'll say breed for you guys. That should be most of the prep you're going to do outside of the game, as well as moving your bar inside of the game. The other really important prep is how to organize your PC. So you see I have a ton of egg boxes, and most of them I finished. I just did a batch earlier today. I wanted to be, nice and prepared. Make sure I actually know what I'm talking about here. Did 512 eggs in an hour, just less than my personal best. And we are going to be showing how I prepare my boxes. So most people I see do this, and this is what I do. It will alternate your Eevee and your Ditto, or your, whatever female Pokemon and your males, or however it is, just alternate the breeders. And then all you have to do is drag over 4 Pokemon, and you'll have, 4 breeders ready in your party. You don't have to grab 2 from over here and grab 2 from down here or something like that. It is nice and organized, prepared, and I'll do that with every single one of my boxes. So now let's talk about the actual mechanics of making an egg. So in this scenario, hypothetically, we've already popped our shiny charm. So we're going to talk to the breeding guy by holding F. I believe, depending on your strings, you might have multiple text windows here. Like if I tap it real fast. So I hold F, and then down here, you're going to press Control, click, click on an EV and a breeder, or I'm using EV as my my baseline, but you know, your desired Pokemon and the Pokemon you're breeding it with. And make sure, I've heard that when holding Control, make sure your mouse is not moving when you click. So even though I'm holding Control, my mouse is moving a little and the Ditto is not going anywhere. You need your mouse to be still. And then you can click. And then the button order is you're going to click the breed button. Then you're going to click yes and then no. Now my strings look really weird for this. This is a preference that I make. But after clicking no, I clicked it with a hotkey there. You're going to just hold your A button. It's Z by default. I use F. Whatever your A button is. Whatever button you use to talk to the guy. And so for hotkeys, the way it's going to work, you're going to click, click. I click A, B, hold A. And then you're going to walk back inside. And so I'm going to show that off one more time, and then we'll talk about the PC Micro. So you're going to control click your breeder and your desired Pokemon into the party. And then you're going to click breed, yes, no. Oops. Sorry, that's actually why I did my strings. Breed, yes, no, hold A. And one more time, that is breed, yes, no, hold A. I highly recommend you increase your frame rate as much as possible, as much as it'll possibly go. It will just make your menus faster. I'm not sure if I could show it on a video just because of the nature of like recording at 60 FPS. But even if your refresh rate is like 144 Hertz, being at 999 frame rate does make your menuing faster. So now we are going to talk about the mechanics of the PC Micro, like Micro in terms of, you know, clicking fast, getting the eggs out of your party and the breeders into your party as fast as possible. So we are going to make our eggs just as we did before. Thank you for following the Daninator. We're going to make our eggs just as we did before. We are going to go into the PC, and then what we're going to do is we are going to press B, our bag button. Not back, bag. The thing that opens, you know, your bag. And you'll notice when I press that, it'll turn my, this little square, my selection square green. That is multi-select. You can then drag over your 4 Pokemon that you want and drag it over the first of the 2 eggs. And I believe you want to drag, yeah. You want to be clicking on one of the top Pokemon. If you click on one of the bottom Pokemon, it'll replace your whatever Pokemon you have in your party along with you. So you want to grab one of the top Pokemon and put it in this second box slot, and it'll always work for you. Whichever top Pokemon you grab, it'll always work. So again, let's say we made our eggs. Excuse me. Let's say we made our eggs. And it's time to put them in the PC and grab more breeders. We're going to open the PC by holding A. We're going to press B. It's B by default, whatever opens your bag. We're going to drag over our 4 breeders, take the top one, and drag it into our party like that. And you can get really quick with this. You know, there's nothing limiting your speed there. And then to get out of the PC, I've heard different things. You can press escape. You can press your B key twice. What I do personally is, let's say I have my 2 eggs in my party. I drag over my 4 Pokemon. I drag like this, and then I just click off the PC, and I walk away. And then we make our eggs again. And so that's the basics of PC Micro. And then I'm not going to finish this full box, but let's say, all right, I've finished my box. It's time to move on to the next box. I always have it organized. Like you see, it's in reverse order right now. So I will take this and I'll move it to the back. And then I'll click on this box. And this would be, you know, my next full box of Eevees and Dittos. And I would go into here. And when I finish that, I would drag that to the back. Go into egg 15. And the reason you do that is, let's say you didn't. Let's say egg 17 and 16 were full. I finish. I run in. Now I've got to click this, and then I can do my micro. That'll just slow you down every time. Clicking on a box, you might misclick. You're gonna want to make sure that whatever box you're working with is in that first slot. So what I'll do is I'll just keep moving to the back, and the game, you know, will feed me my next box. That is all of the mechanics of actually making the eggs. At that point, the only thing you can do to improve is you're looking to just speed up. Anything you can do, you know, you're going to want to do your PC micro faster, you're going to do your menuing faster. The reason I made my strings the way they are is because I would frequently mess up with the, like, breed AB, or, breed AB. I'd accidentally hold A too long or something. And so, if you're interested in my strings, down in the description, what it does is it stretches this yes button so it overlaps the breed button. So I can click yes, no, and so instead of click AB, I do click B. And to me that's easier. Might be easier for you, might be harder for you, I have no idea. It's all a matter of opinion. So now that we've actually made our eggs, it's important to talk about how to hatch them. You know, I just made 500 eggs, and I'd love to make 500 more right now, but I need to get my 500 Eevees out of the eggs. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put 5 of them in my party. Sorry, and we're gonna talk about the mechanics of how hatching works. There's a lot of misconceptions, and there's a ton of misinformation about hatching. So I'm gonna try to very clearly explain how hatching works. So I'm gonna switch the I'm gonna switch this over to this. That threw me off. We're gonna go to the website. We're gonna go to the website time.is. Time is. It's gonna tell you real time what time it is. And what we're interested in is the seconds column. If you see any egg that has been hatched anytime recently, for example, this Eevee, I think, you'll notice that the seconds column, if I go to any Eevee that I've hatched, those were both modest. What a wild coincidence. It'll be 06 on the seconds column. That is our egg tick. The egg tick will reset every time the game updates. So if you're watching this in the future, it's probably not 06. The easiest way, you can ask around in Petrowski's Discord. There are eggers that know it. Or you can just hatch one egg, and whatever the seconds column is, that's the egg tick. The egg tick is all that really matters in terms of making an egg. We are needing... An egg needs 6 ticks without donator status or flame body, and then it will attempt to hatch. I use the word attempt very intentionally. I think the eggs hatch now. Might be next minute. They do not hatch now because I don't have flame body is why. So donator status will make them require 1 less tick, so it'll be 5. Flame body will also make them require 1 less tick, so with Dono and Flame Body, it is 4. And the reason I use the word attempt to hatch is a lot of people seem to think that being in battle pauses the egg timer. This is not true. The only time being in battle matters is at the exact second that the eggs try to hatch. If you are in battle, they won't hatch. And then the next time the clock reaches 06, they will attempt to hatch again. And they'll keep doing this every minute until you're not in a battle, and then they'll actually hatch. So, my general strategy here, I'll see if I can position this so you can see the eggs, and the time should be 06. and they didn't hatch because I'm going too fast. And I don't have flame body. But the general strategy I use to hatch while doing other stuff, and if you don't care, you know, you can just hatch while you're watching a movie or whatever, but if you want to shiny hunt or do something on the side while you are hatching your eggs, this is incredibly useful to know. And the main thing is just know when your eggs will try to hatch and just don't be in a battle. So a lot of the time I will go into the Safari Zone, I will, you know, run around and get encounters, and then the second the timer is like, you know, right around now, I'll just stop running around. And my eggs should hatch in 1 second. There you go. They all hatched. And then I can put the next ones in, and these will hatch at 7:13:06. If I had flame body, it would be 7:12:06. If I didn't have donator status or flame body, you can see up here I am on donator status. It would be at 7:14:06. And other than that, I am not sure there is much more details about egg making. Generally, you want to buy dittos in boxes. There are a lot of guides about that. Petrowski has a great ditto buying guide. There's, you know, tons of people talk about the, you know, how to buy dittos for your eggs. Generally, if you buy male breeders, it's going to be cheaper than dittos for your female mons. I think the only thing I left out that I did just remember is, let's say you're doing something where you do want to pick the gender of the eggs. You're doing something where you want to pick the gender of the eggs. I am alpha breeding for a couple EVs just on the side. And so I want female EVs because alpha dittos are way more expensive than the guaranteed gender of the female EV. So I would click breed, I would click yes, and then I would click female. And it's actually going to be a higher price because of Eevee's gender ratio. Only 1 out of every 8 EVs is male, or 12, I believe 8. It's 1 out of 8. Or only 1 out of every 8 EVs is female, so it's going to cost more to guarantee female on that EV. You know, some Pokemon are 50-50. Whatever your breeder of choice is, you're going to have to pay attention to, you know, what its gender ratio is. Other than that, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.